Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Your English Podcast, the best way to improve your English. Today, we're doing something a little different, actually, a special kind of deep dive. It's specifically crafted for you if you're just starting out, just beginning your adventure into learning English.
Yeah, we're going to take a really close look at the essential building blocks, almost like dissecting those first stages.
Exactly. We're drawing from the insights of Opataya, which, translates to English from scratch.
So think of this as your, detailed starter guide, your roadmap.
That's right. Because we know, we really do, that when you're facing English for the first time, it can feel like there's just so much.
Oh, absolutely. So many books, apps, websites, so many opinions on where you should even begin.
And it's completely normal to feel a bit lost in all that, wondering, what is that very first step?
Yeah, I remember feeling that way when I started learning another language. It's like, okay, you want to get fluent, that's the big goal.
But right now, today, what do I actually do? It's a common feeling.
Definitely. I had this image of standing at the bottom of this, huge mountain. You want to get to the top, but looking up, it's just, okay, where do I even put my foot first? That kind of feeling.
I can totally relate to that sense of not quite knowing which path is the right one to take. You've got the desire, the motivation is there.
But the how isn't always obvious.
Exactly.
And that's really why we wanted to dedicate this deep dive to creating that clear path for you. We've looked closely at the wisdom in English from scratch.
And we're going to explore each key element in detail, really break it down, almost hold your hand through these initial stages.
Our goal today is to tackle those initial hurdles, give you some practical step-by-step advice you can start using, right away.
Yeah, we'll be focusing on, everything from setting goals that actually work for you, creating a learning environment that, supports you,
to keeping that motivation up, even when things feel a bit tough. Right. And recognizing your progress, celebrating those wins, the vital role of talking to people.
Communication, yeah. And using journaling for your own learning journey, how to actually begin, the very first steps.
And maybe most importantly, why consistent practice is just, it's non-negotiable, really.
Okay, so let's really get into this, starting right at the beginning, the foundation, introduction, and goal setting. So, as I said, a big hello again to everyone tuning in.
And like we mentioned, this deep dive on Your English Podcast is truly for you if you're right at the start of learning English. Think of it as your guide to English from scratch, where to begin and how not to quit.
Which is the big question, isn't it? Where do you actually begin? You have this amazing goal, learning English, but sometimes just the size of it can feel, a bit overwhelming.
It's so true. I remember gathering all these materials, textbooks, apps, you name it, and then just staring at them. Which one do I open first? What's the most important thing right now?
Totally.
Yeah.
It's easy to get lost trying to understand everything all at once before you've even got the basics down. That feeling of being unsure where to start can really stop you in your tracks.
And that leads us straight into the absolute first crucial step, setting specific goals. Our source material really hammers this home, and for a good reason. You really need to define why you're learning English. What's driving you? Is it for work, for travel, maybe just personal growth, understanding movies or music better?
Knowing your why is just so powerful. It's like your internal compass, right? It's the energy that keeps you going when things get a little tricky, which, let's be honest, they sometimes do in language learning.
Precisely. And it's not just the general reason. The source suggests really trying to visualize the positive outcomes.
Okay. Like picturing it.
Exactly. Imagine yourself having that confident conversation, understanding a work presentation easily, navigating a foreign city. That clear picture, that reward you're aiming for, is a huge motivator.
It's like putting a destination into your GPS before a long drive. You know where you're going. and that helps you stay on track, even if you hit some traffic or detours.
Well put.
And speaking of staying on track, let's quickly outline our path for today again. We're covering the importance of finding the time and creating the right environment.
Strategies for staying motivated.
Celebrating those small steps forward. The power of communication and finding other learners.
Using journaling to track your progress. Practical advice on how to actually start.
And wrapping up with why practice is just so essential. So, yeah, quite a bit to unpack, but we'll take it step by step.
All right, let's move into setting up the best conditions for learning. Talking about time and your environment. The source material highlights that dedicating some time every single day is vital for steady progress.
Yeah, daily feels like the key word there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Even if it's just a short burst, that regular contact with English makes a massive difference long term.
It really does. It's like exercise, right? A little bit each day is way more effective than one huge session once a week.
Totally.
And when it comes to managing that time, try creating a simple study schedule. Doesn't have to be complicated. Maybe 15 minutes in the morning, 15 in the evening.
That sounds manageable.
And using a timer during those sessions can actually help you stay focused. Make the most of that block of time.
Time management is definitely a skill. It's so easy for other things to creep in and steal that time. But if you're serious about learning, you have to consciously carve it out, like an appointment with yourself.
An important one. And beyond just scheduling time, the source talks about language integration. Basically, surrounding yourself with English in your daily life.
Ooh, I like the sound of that.
Yeah, it's about making English a constant presence, not just something you do during study time, creating your own little English bubble.
That makes sense. So it feels less like a formal lesson all the time. And one really practical example the source gives is changing your phone and computer language to English.
Right. Okay, that might sound a bit scary at first.
Yeah, a little.
But think how often you use those devices. Suddenly you're seeing English words for things you already know. That repeated exposure helps build connections almost automatically.
It's kind of like moving to a new country, isn't it? You start picking things up just by being surrounded by the language. Changing your phone settings is like a mini version of that.
Exactly. Another great tip is visible reminders for new words, like sticky notes on objects around your house, door on the door, window on the window.
Simple but effective.
Or taking screenshots of phrases you like and using them as your phone wallpaper so you see them constantly.
These visual cues are super helpful. They tap into your visual memory. Seeing words repeatedly really helps them stick, much more than just reading a list once.
Absolutely. And the source also talks about multisensory learning, using different senses, hearing, seeing, maybe even speaking or writing helps you remember better.
Makes sense.
Like, watch a short video clip in English that's seeing and hearing, then immediately write down a few new words you heard that adds touch and movement.
Combining senses makes it more engaging for your brain, creates stronger connections. The more ways you interact with something, the better you'll remember it, right?
It's spot on. And as the source says, the more you surround yourself with English daily, the more natural the learning becomes. It slowly shifts from feeling like effort to just being part of your routine.
Here's a really concrete tip from the source. Try setting up a specific language corner at home.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, it could be a shelf, a corner of your desk, even just a box. Keep all your English stuff there. Books, notebooks, flashcards, whatever.
Having that physical space creates a mental link, doesn't it? Like, okay, I'm in my English corner, time to focus. Maybe even play some English music softly there.
Nice idea.
Yeah.
And let's not forget technology's role here. There are tons of apps and websites that can help. Study reminders, vocabulary practice, connecting with others.
Yeah, setting alarms for your study times on your phone is simple but effective. Or using language apps during your commute or downtime. Technology can be a great ally in building those consistent habits. Lots of apps track your progress too. which is motivating in itself.
Definitely. So to wrap up this bit, creating that supportive environment where English is just around more often, plus those focused study times, that's the foundation for real growth.
It's about weaving English into your life, not just adding it as another task.
Exactly. Now, let's dig a bit deeper into motivation and goal setting again. We mentioned goals earlier, but the source revisits this, really stressing how central it is for staying motivated long term.
And that makes perfect sense, right? If you don't know where you're going, or more importantly, why you're going there, it's easy to lose steam. Goals give you purpose and direction.
Our source really urges you to dig deep. Find your personal motivation. Ask yourself honestly, why do I really want to learn English? What's the core desire? Connecting with people, career boost, personal challenge.
And getting specific is key here, isn't it? Not just I want to learn English, but what does that actually mean for you? What will you be able to do? Exactly. The source gives examples like, I want to communicate freely when I travel, or even breaking that down further. Order food, ask directions, have basic chats.
Right. Or maybe pass a specific international exam by next year, having that concrete target.
And breaking those big goals down into smaller, manageable steps is crucial. It makes the whole thing feel less daunting and gives you constant mini wins along the way.
That leads nicely into visualization, which the source mentions again. Actively imagining yourself having achieved your goal.
Mm-hmm. Picturing yourself speaking confidently, feeling those positive emotions, accomplishment, excitement about new opportunities.
Visualization sounds a bit out there to some, maybe, but it's a powerful psychological tool. Mentally rehearsing success makes it feel more real, more achievable, strengthens your belief.
The source also recommends having both long-term goals and short-term ones. Your long-term goal might be fluency in a year or two.
And short-term could be learning 10 new words this week, finishing a chapter in your book, or having one short chat in English.
Yeah, and that specific idea of breaking big goals down.
Yeah.
Like the example of learning just 5 new words a day.
Doesn't sound like much, does it?
No, but do that consistently and imagine the vocabulary you'll build over months. Plus, hitting that small daily target feels good. It keeps you going.
This is where gamification can come in too, right? Language apps with points, challenges, rewards.
Absolutely. They can make it feel less like studying and more like, well, a fun game.
Yeah.
There are apps for vocab, grammar, interactive stories. Lots of options.
And we shouldn't forget about tracking our own progress, keeping a log or diary.
Right. Noting down what you studied, new words learned, maybe how you felt in a conversation.
Seeing that progress visually when you look back, that's powerful motivation. It shows your efforts are paying off, especially when you feel stuck.
Mm-hmm. Our source even mentions examples from our own experiences, like achieving small goals, giving us a boost. I remember the first time I understood a whole TV episode without subtitles.
Okay.
Felt like a small thing, maybe, but huge for my confidence.
I totally get that. For me, it was the first time I had a proper, spontaneous conversation with a tourist asking for directions. Just realizing I could actually do it, understand, and reply clearly. Big moment.
Yeah, those moments stick with you. So the key takeaway here is clear goals, big ones and small ones, plus understanding your personal why. That's the bedrock of your journey. Know why you're doing it and have milestones to celebrate. Okay, moving on. Let's talk about the power of acknowledging progress no matter how small. Our source really emphasizes valuing every single achievement.
Yeah, this is so important. It's easy to focus only on the huge end goal and forget how far you've already come. Recognizing those small wins keeps you motivated and positive.
The source says, actively celebrate each new word learned, every exercise finished, every sentence you understand now that you didn't before.
The little moments build momentum, right? Keep the good feelings going.
Definitely. And they specifically suggest keeping a diary just for these achievements. Doesn't have to be long. Today I learned X. Understood Y.
Seeing that list grow over time must be really rewarding. a visual reminder that you are moving forward.
It reinforces that whole idea of breaking big goals into small steps. Each small victory is proof you're on the right track.
The source has that great example. Today I learned 5 words. Tomorrow I'll learn 5 phrases. Small daily targets create that sense of accomplishment.
And you need to actively practice self-support. Acknowledge the wins. Give yourself a mental high five. Maybe even a small treat for hitting a mini milestone.
Good idea. And let's definitely talk about mistakes. The source stresses this. Mistakes are natural, even essential.
Absolutely. Don't get discouraged by them. See them as learning opportunities. Every mistake tells you something.
Yeah, try to reframe it. It's not failure, it's feedback. It shows you where you need to focus a bit more attention.
And that positive mindset, focusing on wins, seeing mistakes as learning, helps sustain motivation long term. It builds confidence, makes the whole thing more enjoyable, more sustainable.
Our source mentions stories where consistent small steps led to big results. Someone learning a few words a day ends up with a huge vocabulary after a year.
Or someone practicing speaking just 10 minutes daily gradually becomes much more fluent and confident.
It's that compounding effect, isn't it? Small, consistent efforts add up to big achievements.
Exactly. So, the takeaway. Every small victory, however minor it seems, is a crucial stepping stone towards your bigger goals. Acknowledge them, appreciate them, celebrate them.
Now let's shift to something really vital. Communication and connecting with other people. The source explains why this is so important. It's your chance to actually use the language in real situations.
That's so true. You can study grammar and memorize lists forever, but the real learning happens when you try to communicate your ideas to someone else. That's when it becomes dynamic.
And the source gives good advice on finding those people friends, also learning study partners, groups.
Online platforms are great for this. Discord, Telegram, loads of language learning groups there. People at all levels eager to practice.
Language exchange clubs, too, online or maybe even locally in person. Great places to connect.
And it's not just about practicing speaking, although that's huge. Learning with others creates a sense of community.
Mm-hmm.
You can share experiences, talk about challenges, celebrate successes together with people who really get it. That mutual support is incredibly motivating.
And let's not forget native speakers. Talking with them gives you the most authentic practice possible.
Definitely. You learn how English is really spoken, pick up natural phrasing, intonation, get real-time feedback.
The source says try to organize regular chances to communicate face-to-face, video calls, whatever works. Even short, regular chats make a big difference to fluency and confidence.
Yeah, maybe agree on topics beforehand so everyone feels a bit more prepared.
Good idea. And the source suggests specific activities too, like reading texts aloud together and discussing them.
Or trying to translate short articles together, watching a movie and then chatting about it afterwards.
These give your communication focus, help you develop different skills and context.
And definitely support each other. Ask for help, offer help, share successes, but also be open about difficulties and find solutions together. Someone might understand a grammar point you're stuck on.
That social support network is a lifesaver when you hit challenges or plateaus. Fights off that feeling of being alone in it.
Totally. So the key message here, actively seek communication, connect with others. It makes learning way more engaging, enjoyable, and ultimately much more effective. Turns it from a solo slog into something social and interactive.
Okay, let's turn to self-awareness now. Specifically, the trap of comparing yourself to others and the benefits of journaling. The source wisely points out comparing your progress is usually counterproductive.
Such a crucial point. It's so easy to look at someone else who seems faster or more fluent and feel discouraged, but everyone's journey is unique.
Exactly. Everyone starts differently, learns at their own pace, has different strengths. It's just not a useful comparison.
So instead of looking outwards, the source says focus inwards. Concentrate on your own development through keeping a personal diary in English. Yeah, writing in English for self-reflection. Now, that might sound intimidating for a beginner.
It does a bit.
But it doesn't have to be complicated. Just jotting down thoughts about your learning, plans, simple descriptions of your day in English as best you can is incredibly helpful.
And the source explains this diary becomes a tool for tracking your own progress over time.
As you write regularly, you'll see your vocabulary grow, your sentences get better, your confidence increase. It also helps you spot where you're struggling.
The source suggests noting down new words or grammar you learned, maybe where you found them, book, movie, chat.
And definitely go back and read your old entries sometimes. That's where you really see how far you've come. You might surprise yourself. It's tangible proof of your hard work.
And while reflection is good, the source also mentions self-critique, but constructively. Analyze your writing, see where you can improve, but be kind to yourself.
Right. Ask yourself guiding questions. What progress have I made? Where can I improve? And crucially, how can I improve?
The source mentions journaling helped us too. I found writing about challenges helped me process them and think of solutions.
And for me, looking back at old entries was a huge motivator, especially when I felt stuck. A real reminder of progress.
So the takeaway: keep a diary in English. Focus on your personal progress, not others. It reinforces your unique journey and gives you valuable insights.
Okay, let's get really practical now. Actually, starting to learn. The source is very clear. Start today. Don't delay.
Absolutely. It's easy to get stuck planning, researching the perfect method. But the most important thing is just to begin. Take that first step, however small.
The recommendation is to start with the absolute basics. Fundamental vocabulary numbers, colors, days, simple greetings like hello, thank you, short, everyday phrases.
Think about common situations. What are the basic things you need to say? Build that core foundation first.
And bring immersion into your daily life early on, like making your shopping list in English, or, as we said, changing your phone language.
Right, small, manageable things. And for initial learning materials, the source suggests children's books, simple language, basic concepts.
Also, adapted versions of popular movies or stories you already know in your own language. That familiarity helps.
And for listening, simple podcasts, short videos specifically for beginners, lots of great stuff online designed to be clear and understandable.
And crucially, remember, making mistakes and not understanding everything immediately is totally normal. Expected, even.
Please don't let that discourage you. Everyone starts somewhere, no exceptions.
The source even suggests a simple starting phrase. I want to learn English. Just saying it out loud can be a powerful first step, acknowledging your goal.
And really valuable advice. Start with topics you find interesting. Love music. Learn song lyrics. Enjoy cooking. Find simple recipes in English.
Yes. Starting with things you're already engaged with makes it more fun, keeps your enthusiasm up. You can branch out later as you improve.
So the core message. Take that first step, however small it feels. That's the most important thing. And consistently use English in simple daily ways. That builds momentum early on.
Finally, let's really focus on the cornerstone of it all, consistent practice. The source explains that the more you actively interact with English, the faster it becomes part of you, part of how you think.
It's like any skill, isn't it? Playing an instrument, driving. The more you practice, or making short audio recordings summarizing a lesson, describing something you see, builds fluency and helps you form thoughts in English.
And as you make these recordings, the source says analyze them. The valuable part of development.
And make practice a consistent routine. Schedule it in like your study time, even 10-15 focused minutes daily. Consistency is everything.
Definitely. And the source details various practice methods. Conversations with native speakers online, in person, are invaluable.
Participating in online chats, forums good for written practice, vocab, grammar, and context.
And as you progress, watching movies or shows without subtitles. Start with short clips if a whole movie feels too much at first.
Our source mentions how regular practice boosted our own skills. I remember feeling much more confident in conversations after consciously trying to speak English every day, even just narrating my actions to myself.
And for me, seeking out chances to talk with native speakers, even when I felt nervous, made a huge difference to my fluency and understanding real, natural speech.
So the message is crystal clear. Consistent practice in all its forms is the absolute key to rapid progress and building real confidence in using English. It's about doing it regularly.
Okay, let's try and bring all that together. To recap the main points from this deep dive, we talked about setting aside dedicated time.
Maintaining motivation through clear goals and positive self-talk.
Celebrating those small but significant wins along the way.
The importance of actually communicating, finding other learners and native speakers.
Using journaling for self-reflection and tracking your own unique progress.
Taking that vital first step to just start learning without getting bogged down.
And finally, the absolute necessity of consistent, active practice.
And the main message we really hope you take away is that, yes, learning English from scratch takes patience and effort.
But it's also incredibly rewarding. It brings real joy and opens up so many new opportunities, personally and professionally.
We really encourage you, start applying these ideas today. Start that journal even with one sentence. Don't fear mistakes, they're just part of learning.
Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive into learning English from scratch. We really hope you found it helpful and feel more empowered to start your own English adventure.
Alex and Ina here, thanking you for listening to your English podcast. Please do subscribe so you don't miss future deep dives.
And we'd love it if you could like this one and share it with anyone else who might be starting out.
Keep learning and enjoy every single step of your journey. And hey, we'd genuinely love to hear from you.
Yeah. What parts of learning English are you finding tricky right now? Or are there specific topics you'd like us to cover in future deep dives?
Let us know in the comments section.